Alrighty, the first video that I'm going to post about is how motivation is not enough. So, whatever it is that you're doing this morning, how you're watching this video, whatever your goals are that you want to achieve, whatever it is that you are looking forward to today, I'm going to just tell you straight up, motivation is not enough. Like, I don't care what video motivated you, and that's awesome. God bless them. But that's not going to keep you like hardcore, invested. You need to make a decision. You need to make a decision that you're going to invest in yourself. First and foremost, that you're going to invest in yourself. I wrote this saying down. I actually got it from a motivational video, and it was actually a biblical one too. And it was saying how I'm no good to my family if I'm not healthy. If I'm no good to my family if I'm dead. And at the end of the day, I had to take a true investment in myself and say, Jessica, you're not doing the best choices. You keep talking like so motivated, how you're ready to change. And just I had so much motivation in my heart to change, but I had zero discipline, zero investment. I talked a good one. Me and my friends used to chop it up and say, girl, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And at the end of the day, I was still having a hard time living in my emotional state. And when I say that, I would be emotionally eating. Like, oh, girl, I'm going to go on a run. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And then I would just go to Starbucks and get my bagel and my caramel frappuccino or my peppermint mocha frappuccino. And it even makes me smile because I used to literally look at that as such a joyous time in my day. But then I would go home and have zero discipline. I'm sorry. So even though the motivation was there, my friends would come over, we'd talk about our dreams. I had zero discipline, zero investment in myself. And then one day I got sick and tired of being sick and tired. You got to get to that point. I'm sorry. People say, I try to help everybody say, oh, you know what? You don't want to get to that point. But to be honest with you, I think to each their own. But for me, that's what made me say, damn, dude, Jess, I have to get out of this. You keep saying that you want to do better. You keep saying that you want to change, and nothing is changing. And you know why? Because I wasn't changing. And I wasn't that tired. I was tired, but I wasn't that tired. So the purpose of this video is just to tell you that motivation is not enough. It's important for you to truly invest in yourself and to have discipline. Now, discipline for me and myself and I, the only way that I learned discipline, and I'm being 1,000% honest, was through prayer and fasting. I honestly had zero. I always held myself accountable. I always was honest with myself, but I had zero discipline. I for the life of me, I could not, no matter how bad I wanted something, I could not be disciplined until I started doing fasting and praying. Obviously, I always pray, but I started doing fasting and I said, Lord, help me change, because I cannot change on my own free will. We have free will and I couldn't change. So, and I'm not even trying to be religious or anything like that. I'm being straight up. For real, that was my rock bottom. And I told God, please change me. I can't stop drinking Dr. Pepper. Honestly, something that sounds so ridiculous, but I could not stop drinking Dr. Pepper. I was like, Lord, please, how can this drink have so much control over me? Or another example, I kept saying I was in a healthy relationship, but then I stayed in an unhealthy one for too long. And I'm sure that's a lot of us. Or I kept saying, I wanna save money, but then I would go shopping for stupid stuff that I didn't even need, but I convinced my brain to believe that I needed it when I really didn't. So this video right here is to tell you that motivation is not enough. You need to really take inventory in yourself and say, what am I doing wrong? And I know that motivational speakers always oh, you have to, you got to do this, you got to do that. But I'm telling you, something I learned from Matthew McConaughey, because I love him so much. He's literally one of the best actors ever. And he's a great motivational speaker. You should search him up. And, and I love when he says, all right, all right, all right. But I love him. But anyways, my point is that he said, you have to do the process of elimination. So you can't focus on what you want until you know what you don't want. So I knew in my heart that I had to take inventory, and I knew I said, how can I be godly? How can I say that I practice self-control? How can I say that I am what I say I am when I'm literally like almost 200 pounds? And I mean, I'm not even fat shaming, but it was not healthy because I'm only 5'2". And so, and I mean, even with the excuse of having children and everything, which can be valid sometimes, but at the end of the day, there's no excuses. You need to keep it pushing, and you need to tell yourself, Jess, I told myself, like, I am not where I want to be. And how can I tell other people to do something when I myself am not doing it? So I have to practice what I preach. So finally, I said, you know what, dude? Like, Lord, please, I surrender. I surrender everything. I need your help. I need your help. And I would fast for one day. Sometimes I wouldn't even last 12 hours. Sometimes I would do it for 1 day, 2 days, 3 days. I did social media fast. Anybody that, if you know me on social media, sometimes you're probably like, why did she disappear? And it's because I've learned that nothing is going to come in between what's the most important thing, which is my relationship with God. And my relationship with God is what has made me even learn the little bit of discipline that I have now. I've managed to lose 36 pounds by the grace of God. And that's a lot because honestly, like, I literally was just not in a healthy place. I was drinking Starbucks all the time, drinking caffeine, soda, snacks, oh my gosh, cupcakes, cake, Hershey pie, fast food. And now I've eliminated most processed sugars. Sometimes here and there, it's okay if there's a couple grams of sugar or whatever, but I don't beat myself up about it. But my point is that not only that, but I have overcame so much of who I used to be. And like I told God yesterday, demolish who I was and rebuild me up to be a new Jessica. So if you're listening to this point right now, you need to do that to yourself. And it's going to take time. It's not going to happen overnight. Bro, I've literally rediscovered myself many times. And to be honest, my whole life changed when I separated from my kid's father. And being with somebody for so many years has shaped your way in a way that you think that's normal. What's normal? Because it becomes your new norm. But 6 years later, I reinvent myself and I tell myself, dang, wow, I didn't know how much I can evolve. And we're always evolving. We're always evolving. So you have to give yourself grace, mercy, and self love. But I'm going to tell you right now, you also need to hold yourself accountable. If you know that what you're doing is wrong and you know that this is not right, ask God for help. And the second thing after doing that is being intentional. Like, I couldn't just tell God, I'm going to fast. I had to choose in my mind first. In my mind, in my heart, I had to choose what is it that I need to let go of. So going back to Matthew McConaughey with the process of elimination, you have to choose in your mind, in your heart and soul, what is it that you need to get rid of? What is it that you need to stop doing? Before you even think about achieving your dreams, you have to declutter all the trash in your life. You have to take out everything in your mind, heart, and this season is probably going to be a season of decluttering. What is it that you need to get rid of? Is it your attitude? Because sometimes I know I can be a complainer. I know you probably can too. Or sometimes maybe you're lazy. You know, I mean, I was never lazy, but I was being gluttonous, overeating, doing the most, and it's in your mindset to have that scarcity mindset. So do you have that scarcity mindset where you think, oh, I better eat it now because if not, I'm never going to get it again? Or, whatever it is in your heart, you know the answer, you know? And let me tell you, when you take inventory, write this down. What is it that you need to change? In order for you to get to where you need to be or that you want to be, you need to figure out what is it that you need to remove first. In order for God to bless you with new things, you have to get rid of the old bad things, the things that serve you no more. Maybe they helped you a little bit, but not no more. There's a reason there's like a beginner's coach, a middle coach, an expert coach, because they'll teach you different things. But when you're in a new season already and you already know this, do better, Another thing is that once you're decluttering and in your mind and your heart and soul, you have to ask yourself, okay, is there anything I'm doing wrong? Next, this is optional. You can also ask people around you, like, you know, do you think I have this attitude? Do you think that I do these things? And people that truly love you, like truly, will be honest with you. Because I know I'm honest with those people I love. And I'm just saying, if you want that extra feedback, it's optional. You don't have to listen to people, because some people will be hating it, some people not on your team, but the people that are really close to you, like your best friend, like, damn, you know what I mean? Can I do better in this area? Yes. And most of the time, it's going to be yes. So, whatever area that you want to work on, whether it's relationships, finances, whatever the situation may be, this video, you need to remember that motivation is not enough. You need to take inventory in yourself. Stop making excuses, even if your excuses are valid, because sometimes they are. Sometimes crap happens. So, that can be, valid. But at the end of the day, what are we gonna do with what are we gonna do with the information next? We can't just sit here and complain about how life is unfair. Duh, it is unfair. But what are we gonna do next? How can we overcome this obstacle? So you need to think about that. So whatever it is that you're thinking about today, whatever it is, think about yourself first. And by taking inventory in yourself, you're going to be taking accountability. And that's something that people don't want to do. So please, if you disagree with me, don't follow me if you don't want to. But I promise you, me taking accountability for my crap is me saying, damn, dude, I know that I've been given not the perfect life, but you know what? If I want to do better, I can do better. Stop making excuses. Stop making excuses. You know what I mean? And even if the excuses are valid, at the end of the day, we have to do what's best for us. And what's best for us is looking at taking a clear look in the mirror and saying, you know what? I could do better. So whatever your goal is today, don't just think only about the goal. Think about what's in the way of you getting that goal. Because next we'll talk about, okay, what is it that you want? How can we go from there? But for today, we need to focus on, dude, is this serving me? Should I read a book for 10 minutes or read a Bible or whatever you want to read? I'm just using this as an example. You can read for 10 minutes, or do you want to just scroll for an hour and then complain about how your relationship is failing, but you're scrolling for a whole hour instead of reading something that can benefit your relationship, or instead of praying? So you have to think about these things. Are they serving you? Like, if your goal is to save money, why are you at Ross? Why are you in the stores? Why are you thrift shopping? And I'm speaking based on my own personal guilty convictions. Like, I say I want to save this, but then I'm at the store. Or I say that I want to make my relationship work, but then I'm too prideful to tell my boyfriend that he's right. For example. But at the end of the day, you have to write down what it is that you need, the process of elimination. You can't know who you are until you know who you're not. So I pray to God that something get in your mind and this resonates with you. So I really hope to God that something in you changes, or at least it stirs something up in you. Because at the end of the day, we need to take accountability for our lives. From dust we were born, and dust we shall return. But in the midst of that, what are you doing with your life? Because even though we have to surrender control to God, we also have a lot that we can control in our life. So think about that. What can you do better? And be honest with yourself. And be honest with yourself, be honest with God. And I will never know who watches this video to the entirety. But at the end of the day, God knows that you are tired of being sick and tired. And He wants to change your life. But He just wants you to pour out your hands and say, I need help. I need it. We all need help. Thank God for all of the people that God had bring in my life to tell me that, you know what, Jess, you're gifted. You're smart. Hey, you're so smart, but you should cut this out of your life. So even when I used to work at Subway, some of my customers that were health conscious, when I wasn't ready to be health conscious, they would tell me when they would see me with my Starbucks, like, man, that's all trash. And I could have been offensive and be like, and they weren't telling me in a bad way. They were telling me because we were homies, like we were cool, you know? So they were like, man, that's bad for you. And I would tell them, like, I know, but I'm so addicted. But they would tell me, like, in a loving, kind way, like, I know, but that's like gonna destroy your body. Or they would tell me, like, man, that stuff is bad for you. Like, but I mean, I know it's good, but it's bad for you. And little subtle signs, I was like, you know what, Lord, I don't want to be unhealthy. I'm serving people to like healthy food supposedly, because Subway's not even that healthy. It's really not. But I mean, but back in the day, I thought that that was the healthy. And to be honest with you, back in the day, that would have been healthier for me compared to the crap I was eating, like McDonald's. So in comparison, there's people along the way that are loving you and you don't even know it. And my kid's dad even used to tell me all the time, you're gonna get diabetes, Jess, you're gonna get diabetes. And even though, I mean, we're not even together or anything, I appreciated that he was honest with me, because at the end of the day, I don't want to get diabetes. I don't want to get diabetes. I don't want to die. And then my kids have no mom. So you need to understand that doing this process of elimination is going to help you tremendously in the areas that whatever it is that you're working on, it's going to help you. You're going to look like crap. Like at first in your heart, you're going to be like, damn, dude, I'm messing up big time. But that's beautiful, because you're going to clean out all that gunk, all that trash, all that stuff that's not helping you and it's only hurting you. So I'm just telling you this right now. So I pray that you guys have a beautiful day, and I'll do another video tomorrow, you know what I mean? And we'll see what happens. But for now, remember, I'm proud of you if you take the initiative to do what it is that you have to do. And even if you watch the video, I'm proud of you, because I'm just going on and on and on. But like I said, it's only for your good. So have a blessed day.